I ask you today to have a little amount of props around you. So if you do have a block, you don't have a block, take a thicker cushion or a roll or something that you could rest or sit on. And I know a fair few of you have bolsters at home, so I suggest the bolster as well. You don't have one, the same applies. Just grab something, roll up a blanket, grab some pile of cushions or whatever else you might be able to use. We won't start with these items. I would ask you today to begin a standing upright. I know it's an unusual way to begin. I rarely do that, but today might be the day for it. As someone said so nicely, the weather is beautiful today. It's going to be warm, sunny, and just in general kind weather, not stormy or anything unexpected coming. Whereas in our lives, everything's unexpected that happens, or most of it is. So as we begin in a standing position, you can choose your stance. You could keep your feet for now at a comfortable hip distance apart, but if you're very used to and comfortable with, you could also touch your big toes together, spread the other toes out onto the floor, and that's all. And if your feet are quite close, maybe leaving the heels a little bit apart. I do prefer a hip distance stance. It gives me more stability, but again, this is entirely up to you. Let your arms just hang down there by the sides. And then soften through your knees. And as you soften through the knees, allow a little movement into the pelvis. Sorry, gentlemen, that might not come naturally to you. And as you then come into that stance, you might notice that the pelvis is resting there like a very balanced bowl. And the lower back has still got its gentle curve. So we're not encouraging tailbone to the floor or anything like that. Keep the knees soft, the arms soft, and then begin to just flop the arms around the waist to begin with. And then starting to loosen up. And while the arms are still flopping around your hips and waistline, you will begin to move the body a little. Now, as you move, and the movement might become bigger over time, the arms a bit more away from the body, maybe there's a tap of the hands front and back. You could also roll over the heel, lift your toes, or if that appears to be rather on the complicated end, you could also lift the opposite heel and get that way a bit deeper into the movement. As you allow your arms to flop around, one might start tapping the shoulder now, and one might start tapping the center of the back. So we're using this movement to activate through the spine and stimulate some of our energy centers. For a few more now, full helicopter arms. Let them swing around and see if you can look to the space behind you. And then we'll reverse that. We're allowing our arms to come down. Let your feet ground, and we will complete this by just letting the arms naturally finish the movement. And then if that's available to you, please close your eyes, keep the feet in that random position that they're landed in, become aware of exactly that, and maybe notice the energy you've just created within yourself, around you, and that feeling that this might be in the feet, in the hands. Maybe the breath has changed a little. And then from there, realigning your feet. So to bring them back to an aligned hip distance or big toes together. I will ask you to reach both arms up and over the head. And just pausing here, if you like, you can touch your palms together, cross over your thumbs. If it feels good, you might be able to lift your gaze up. Engaging a little bit more through the core center. Lifting a little bit taller as you're expanding. And then soften your knees. Engage the lower bellies gently as you're folding down from your hips and reaching all the way towards the floor. Allowing your feet to stay grounded. The nose to point down to the space between the knees. The whole upper body relaxed and maybe even supported with soft knees, belly on thighs. As you allow yourself to hang down here for a moment, Uttanasana, or the standing forward bend. And then waiting for the next out breath as you engage your lower abdomen again and starting to roll up, observing that movement in between the vertebrae as we're curling back up into standing. Now we'll do that again. When you reach up to stand, take a big breath in, stretch your arms up, engage into the core, the glutes, use your feet, maybe hook your thumbs up in a different way. And allow yourself to imagine that there is sunlight coming right from the ground underneath towards your heart space. And the more you're lifting that heart space upwards, the more the light shines right from your heart. And then as you soften the knees again and you engage your lower tummy and you're folding forward, draw that sunlight from the sky all the way down your body into the feet, hands towards the ground, allowing softness over the body as you stay in Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Once more, use your tummy muscles, curling up. We'll go for another round. Think about the sun that you take with you from the ground. As you're extending the arms, the sun travels through the hips, right up to the heart space. And we're shining our hearts open, allowing the light to come in. The arms might open now as we expand our chest. Shine for another breath. And then soften the knees again, lower belly lightly engaged, protecting the lower back in particular, and letting that sunshine come from your base, all the way up to the hips, down the back, towards the head, and back into the floor. Another out breath from here, just to roll yourself back up. Take the sun with you from the ground, up through the spine, into the heart. And once more, lifting the arms, opening them up. Engage the buttocks muscles, core muscles. Lift through the sternum, the heart space. Imagine that that light is still with you as you take it right from above, the palms touching down into the heart center. As we stand here in a mountain pose, we're releasing the arms down by the sides. So we will work a little bit with the sun as it timely has appeared outside. And we will go through a way of saluting that some of you might be familiar with, as it's encouraging our lymphatic system, but I've added a few things to it. So with the in-breath, open your arms like cactus arms and make soft fists so the heart is opening again. And as you're breathing out, bring the backs of your hands together, bend your knees and hips, a bit like a crooked chair pose. And now as you're inhaling, and I'll do that very slowly, lifting one arm, making fists again as one arm moves up, one down and back. And the opposite heel to the upper arm is lifting off the floor. And then as we're breathing out, we're lowering the heel and we're bringing our hands together at the heart. We'll do that in this slow pace once again. On the in-breath, cactus arms with soft fists. Open your heart space, maybe lifting your gaze. And when you're breathing out, bend knees and hips, extend the arms forward and touch the backs of the hands together. We're using a push into the ground as we're lifting now the other arm to the ceiling. Both hands have fists. We're moving the lower arm backwards. And the opposite heel is coming off the ground. And to release it, we will lower the heel and the hands come together. Now let us repeat this sequence once more to each side to familiarize ourselves. With the inhale, making soft fist, cactus arms, lift the sternum, open your gaze. And when you're breathing out, bend at knees and hips, extend the arms forward, backs of the hands come to touch. Now have some fun if this is a challenge of coordination. I'm lifting now my right arm, my left heel, make fists with the hands, pull the lower arm backwards. And then with the out breath, coming back, hands at the heart, both feet on the ground. So don't worry if you get anything wrong, it's all good. Let's take a breath in, gentle fists, cactus arms, open the heart. On the out breath, bend your knees, hips around forward, backs of the hands come to touch. And this time I'm lifting my left arm, the right heel, and draw the right arm backwards while I've got fists in both of my hands. And then lowering the heel and releasing the hands back to touch. So we'll add a little bit to this. While we're inhaling, that stays the same. Cactus arms, soft fists, open heart space. Bending the knees and hips as we round forward, backs of the hands coming to touch. I will lift my right arm, left heel, breath in, fists as I'm drawing back. And now I will take my left foot and step that back into a warrior one stance with my hands at the heart. I'm landing here in this stance, the front knee is in a bend, my hands still at the heart. And with my next inhalation, straightening the front leg, lifting both arms up to the ceiling. And then lifting the left heel off the floor. Stepping the left foot further open and letting the arms open up for warrior two. You can choose to turn the palms up or down. That's up to you. And I would love you to flow a little bit as if you could dance in this place. Let your arms flow, move your upper body, but keep your stance really strong, just like a warrior. You might imagine that the sunlight's inspiring you today to move with more fluidity through your day, but keep yourself well grounded. So Nothing can really knock you over. Pause this and bring your gaze towards the front in your warrior shape. Let us lift the left heel again. Bring the hands back to the heart. Allowing your spine to lean forward. And anything from here becomes optional. If you would like to turn that into a more gentle movement, please do. Arms can reach out to either side. And you might move the weight into the front foot, lifting the back foot up for an aeroplane shape or warrior 3. Starting to flex the foot behind you. And then allowing, if that's possible, the hands to touch again at the heart space, keeping hips, toes, and gaze to the ground. Then land your foot next to the right and come into a still stance at the front of the mat. Noticing our urges to move, to readjust, to do. And if you couldn't resist them, notice that as well. As you open the eyes again, inhale, gentle fists, cactus arms, open your heart, open your gaze. And as you're breathing out, bending your knees and your hips, backs of the hands come to touch. And with the next inhale, lift your left arm, your right heel, make fists, draw the arm back. And then we will step the right foot back as we bring our hands to the heart, landing the foot all the way onto the ground, bringing a bend into the left knee. Warrior 1 stands. Now, as we're inhaling, straighten the front leg. You might reach your arms up. Lifting the right heel off the ground. As we adjust the stance and open our hips, let the arms come out back for warrior 2. Same here, you can choose palms up or down. Find your solid stance in the ground. And begin to let your upper body flow again. There's no rule to this movement other than to keep stability in the lower body, to let your shoulders move freely, the spine, include even the neck and the head if you like. And then reaching the arms back out and turning your gaze again forward, the direction we usually want to move towards, or we still keep ourselves grounded. Then let's lift the back heel off the floor. Start to lean a little bit forward. Maybe extending the arms out. It's up to you to hold here or to take the back foot off the ground, lifting the leg into warrior 3 variation. Maybe foot is flexing, toes facing to the ground. And if you have little to no turbulences, you might bring your hands back together in front of the chest as you hold. Stepping your right foot next to the left as you rise to stand. Hands remain at the heart. Observe yourself again, your responses. Feet wanting to step. Parts of the body want to move. Let us work with the sunshine one more time. On the in-breath, Lift your arms, extend them, open them up, engage into your glutes, lift from your core right up to the center of the chest, embracing the sun and shining it from your heart. And then as you soften the knees, take the sun with you. Gentle engagement into the core as we're flowing. And the sun, the light's traveling all the way down the spine as we reach back towards the floor, standing forward bend. We won't stand up from here. I invite you to bend your knees and come down to sit. Now, if sitting in an easy pose is very challenging for you, please do take a block or your bolster, use the wall behind you, or even pull in a chair to sit on. Only thing important for now is the length of the spine. I'd ask you to roll your shoulders a few times just to get ease back into those. I'd ask you to rest the hands down. If you like, your palms can face down or up. And you might come into Shin or Dhyana Mudra, touching index and thumbs together. Lift up through the crown of the head while at the same time you're finding the sit bones on the floor. I'm inviting you to make a sound as you feel the sunshine in your day. We'll come into the B sound, or Brahmari, a breathing technique that sends vibrations through the body. Might clear your throat. Notice what the benefits might be for you. We'll go for a few rounds. I will count and then I'll ask you to pause when we're reaching our last one. Let's begin with an in-breath. Two more. whenever you finished your last Brahmari breath, pause. Maybe noticing the subtle energies. Maybe noticing where the vibrations have chosen to go towards. Allowing this all to settle. And take the palms of your hands together and rub them vigorously. Creating warmth between your hands before you take a breath in, and cup your eyes with the warm hands. You enjoy a subtle massage. You could use your fingertips around the hairline towards the ears, temples. And then give your face about 3 rounds of she washes while you're opening the eyes. And maybe taking the massage onto your scalp. Before releasing the arms back down. So I'm hoping you're back alert as we come into head to knee pose. So feel free to leave the support underneath. Also feel free as you're extending your right leg out to potentially place the cushioning underneath the knees if that is what you need. Have your fingertips on the floor and find a way to walk your sit bones out onto the ground. Flexing through the right ankle so the toes are pointing up. And as you inhale now, lengthen through your back. And when you're exhaling, folding, belly reaches towards the thighs. The hands might lengthen down by the side of the leg as your head lowers in the direction of the knee. Keeping the right foot pointing upwards so the leg is aligned. Leave your shoulders in their sockets and breathe. Breathing into the awareness of your own body. Noticing if a slight engagement of lower abdominal muscles is of benefit for this shape. Taking another 2 breaths. Once you've completed those, and never feel rushed, just the next step when you're ready. Bring the hands down to the ground, either side of your legs, and lengthen your spine as you inhale. Take the right arm from the outside to the inside of the leg. Keep the leg aligned, toes facing up. And as you take your next inhale, the left arm can either extend towards the ceiling or over your head. Too strong for the shoulders, place the hand into the side of the waist. As you lean sideways now towards your right leg. So we're still on the same leg, just changing the position. So begin to open more deeply into the right side of your body. If your arm is over the head, try and turn the palm of the hand to face downwards. The little finger curled in so the whole palm looks down. The shoulder in a great position for this shape. 2 more breaths. And when completed, let the upper arm, shoulder roll in. Take the fingertips to the floor and draw a huge half circle around with your left hand until your fingertips are behind your buttocks. Roll up through the spine and take a breath in to lift the right arm upwards. And then place the back of the right hand against your left knee, using the out breath to go into a twist. Now these twists are a little bit tricky, so become an observer of your sit bones and the buttocks. Can you ground through both of them while you're in your twist? Your gaze might likely be to the side or even backwards, but you're deeply grounded and upright. Let us take the right hand and bring that over back to the right hand side. Both hands now either side of the hips as we bring our right leg in and extend our left leg out. I usually find I sit centered here, so I bring my right hand a little bit forward and I shuffle again through the sit bones so that I can face the extended leg. Same here, you could bring some cushioning under or keep the knee bend. Ankle is in flexion, so toes are facing upwards. We're inhaling right here, upright and tall. And with the out breath then, lower belly a little bit on as we lean the body forward, the arms framing the leg, shoulders soft, and the head might come to face the knee. As we're keeping to the same shapes on the opposite side, do notice what you feel here, and there might be a direct comparison now as the body still remembers what that felt like on the other side. Oftentimes one's easier, one's harder than the other, as we have our favorites in our daily habits. We will bring change into this shape as we're inhaling, lifting halfway up, palms grounded to the floor, taking the left arm from the outside to the inside of the leg, keeping everything as is, leg aligned. As you inhale, either lift your right arm up to the ceiling or bring it over the head. Same option here. If that's too strong, place the right hand to the side of the waist. It is about bringing space into that right side. And if your arm is extended over the head, palm will face down. Little finger slightly curled in to bring that beautiful alignment into the shoulder joint. If you can reach for the foot, which I forgot to mention, on the other side, you could come into a bind behind the foot. Nice breath here. Before rolling your arm and shoulder down and forward, drawing a half circle with your right hand fingertips all around until your fingers land behind your buttocks. Roll up through the spine and take a deep breath in to let the left arm extend to the ceiling, lifting you up taller. Then place the back of your left hand against the outside of the right knee and go straight into the twist with your out breath. Shoulders relaxed, but more important, sitting balanced on both sit bones. There's a good likelihood you're leaning in the direction that you're moving towards. See if you can keep yourself centered and enjoy a greater range of movement in your spine instead. Gaze could be sideways or back. Then take your left hand, bring that to the outside of the left side, and the right hand aligns as well as we're extending both legs forward. I would love you to have, if you have your bolster nearby, otherwise maybe some cushioning as mentioned before, it's not essential, but it might help us in the extension that I'm guiding you towards. So I will lie over the bolster, just the lower rib cage on the lower end, and then leaning over. So I'm comfortable here with my head just falling onto my arm. If you want extra support, you might place a block there. That could also help you release through the shoulder. If you're using a block, the shoulder is between the block and the bolster, hanging free. And in that case, your arm is extended in front of you. And without, you might have your arm extended above. Knees could still be bent at this stage. And as I'm after a lengthening through the side still, why not bring the right arm over the head if that feels good? You could gradually lower the head a little bit more if you're feeling comfortable now that we are approaching a steady shape. And you could also choose to extend both legs out long, or just the top one. So you have a good play with your final position. And as you allow yourself to stay, the eyes might close. And if you like, could you allow that soft, warm sunlight to travel from your fingers to the head, torso, until it moves all the way through the body and shines onto your toes. Taking the sunshine now back to the heart. As you curl in, bend your knees, bring your hand back down in front. And I'm inviting you now to roll right down onto your back. The same applies here. You can use a cushioning or a block underneath the head, but you could also let the head fall back all the way. Arms can rest above the bolster or on it if you prefer. We're opening into like a fish pose style, so that the sun that you might carry within your heart at the moment is opened up. And if you like, you can also extend your legs out. If you think about the warmth of the sun in your heart, where you could shine this light to. This light could be right for yourself. You might need a little bit of lightness in your day or life. But you could also share it with someone else if you might need it, or the collective, if you like. Staying here for 2 more breaths. Before you roll over onto the other side. Coming back into that same side extension as you place the lower ribs onto your bolster. You can either use, for me it's the right arm now, and extend that to rest your head upon, or bring a block back in as a headrest. In that case, the arm facing forward in front of you. Your knees might still be in a bend as we settle in. Feeling quite comfortable, maybe feeling what the bolster has to offer you. And then if you would like to extend, taking the left arm over the head. If you enjoy that, you might also feel good to extend your legs out, maybe just the top one or both. Blaming the healing warm light of the sun, as you might imagine that sitting at your fingertips and drawing it down again over your whole body. Imagine the warmth spreading from the top of the head, and gradually landing down as you explore it, moving in your feet. Allowing ease, warmth, light. Now to release that, bring your knees back in, place your head down in front. And this time lifting the upper body and turning yourself around, looking at the time for a short relaxation. So you might drape your legs over your support now. Let the arms fall out, the palms face up, the body soften into the floor. There is the option of spending the rest of the class lying down, although I will encourage you into a seated meditation. But if that's not yours, causes you discomfort, please feel free to just spend the rest of the time lying down, well supported and nurtured on your back. While you might stay right here and there, following the breath moving in and out. There is a mantra for the sun, Surya. It's a beach mantra and has the magnificent power to create a life of abundance, fame with prosperity and austerity, and also has the healing powers to remove diseases and negative impacts of any nature. That's my reason for choosing it. And if you feel this way inclined, you could change your position gently into a seat, disturbing your body as little as is possible for you. And if you like, you can open the eyes as I prepared the mantra on the screen for you. I will either encourage you to join me and chanting this mantra out aloud. If you feel self-conscious or just don't want to do that right now to not disturb anybody else, feel free to just mentally repeat the mantra. It goes like this: Om Ram Rim Ram Sa Surya Namaha. So if you like to join in, please feel free to do so. We'll do a few rounds, breathing in and out to begin. Next in-breaths to start. Om Ram Rim Ram Sa Surya Namaha. Om Ram 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 Sa Surya Namaha. Allow yourself to sit, the sound of the mantra, or lie, of course. If you would like to complete the practice here, please open the palms of the hands. Take a deep breath. Reach the arms up once more. Embrace the light of the sun as you open your heart. And capture it as you draw that down into heart center. We'll bow the head very lightly. And extending light and love to each other. Namaste.